Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya. Chakshu Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale. Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Shvapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam. Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shah Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Samjivam Tadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vitakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Ishabanu Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Taludasha Kripa Sindhudevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it's a great privilege to start the Bhagavad Gita. It's always a very thrilling experience to always reconnect with Krishna, and this is totally. So that's the question that could come in mind. I could have asked you actually. Is it Shruti or Smriti?
I think I remember you saying that it was both.
Yes, correct. Why?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Shruti. Yeah, I may have given you this chart long back, beginning of the Shri show. And remember, Shruti means whatever comes from God directly, Shabda Brahman. So it's directly emanating from the Supreme. So in that sense, what could be more Shruti than Bhagavad Gita? Because it's Lord Krishna himself, Sri Bhagavan Uvaj. Well, why is it Smriti also?
Is it Smriti also because it's being passed down through the sages?
Yes, correct. And to be more explicit, because it's part of
Mahabharata.
Mahabharata. And Mahabharata is classified as
Smriti.
Yeah, Itihas to be precise. Itihas is this two basically, Ramayana and Mahabharata. So Itihas without any fail, it's within Smriti. So in that sense, it's both.
What does that classification Itihasi mean literally?
Itihas means histories.
Okay.
Itihas means histories. There's two great epic. One is Ramayana, Treta Yuga, and the other is Mahabharata, which is Dwapara Yuga, at the end of Dwapara Yuga. In the first canto, in one purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that in Kali Yuga, the Mahabharata is called fifth Veda because people are so dull, they cannot appreciate Vedanta Sutra, which is obviously the end of Vedas, but that's a little high for Kali Yuga people. So Kali, what's the verse? Striya, what is that verse, Vignesh? You know, in the Stri Veshya Striya Bandunam. It's only meant, Mahabharata is fifth Veda because it's only meant for Shudras and Kalo Shudra Sambhava. We are all Shudras, for women, for Vishyas. So everyone is practically Shudra in this Kali Yuga. And that is why actually Mahabharata is considered so important in Kali Yuga, because within the Mahabharata, what do we find?
Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, this is the creme de la creme within Mahabharata. Otherwise, if you remove Gita from Mahabharata, then it's just, it's just a book of romance and epics, adventure, saga. Everything is there. That's why it's so enlivening for many of us. We cannot deny. But Krishna is so expert. So it comes to that first question. Is it a river of nectar, as it's meant to be, or is it a river of blood? Because, 540 million people died in 18 days. So that's just to tell things in perspective. World War II, 50 million people died, 5 crores in 6 years. Here we're talking about 54 crores in 18 days. So quite a difference. And there was so much blood. I don't know if you have been to Samanta Panchak, near, of course, it's Kurukshetra. You can still, you've been there, Vignesh?
No, not yet.
No, you should go. Some of you should go. I've been there long back, 20 years ago. The earth is still red copper. The earth is a bit like this. See? It's a bit reddish. Why? Why? What do you think is the answer? Because Samanta Panchak, 5 legs of blood. Can you imagine? 5 legs of blood were formed due to the killing. And there was so much stench. Blood stinks. I don't know if you have smelled blood. It stinks. And people used to faint due to the stench. Even the soldiers, some soldiers died of that stinking odor. So my question remains, is it, by the way, Vignesh, you sent me your answers at the very, right before the class. So
Sorry for that, I was just a bit tied up.
I haven't had time to look at it. I'm sure it must be pretty good, but I just got them right before I plugged in, So is it a river of nectar or a river of blood?
It's a river of nectar.
Yes. So try to reconcile the apparent contradiction.
Yeah.
All of you.
Generally, what we see, especially the World War I and World War II, which was fought, it was basically for the material gains. A lot of basically things were not anything spiritual in that. But when it comes to the war which was fought in the Kurukshetra, it is called like Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. So it was a holy war in a way, in which Lord Krishna was directly instructing the Pandavas. And it was not just a war between say 2 families or just for gaining some property rights. It was more like a war between a religion or righteous and the virtuous people.
Yes.
And Krishna was personally on the side of the virtuous
yes.
Pandavas.
That's a very good start, Vignesh. Very, very good start. Sorel, would you like to add up to this?
Honestly, Jakob helped me a lot with this one, so I feel like he should answer it.
Who, Jacob?
Yeah, he helped me a lot with this one because I struggled with it a little bit.
Okay, go ahead, Jacob, then.
Well, personally, I'd say that it's a bit of both. Both a river of blood and nectar. Whenever Krishna descends to this planet, he accomplishes multiple things at once. Through his pastimes, he is giving the devotees stories to relish and to learn from. But he also, he says in the Bhagavad Gita that in order to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, he descends age after age. So he came here with the purpose of annihilating the miscreants. So actually killing many people, and his appearance facilitated that. But yeah, at the same time, we have so much to learn from his pastimes while he came.
Okay, that's very good. Yeah, so basically you're right. It's a river of nectar flowing. How could there be a river of nectar on the battlefield? But as we hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, it's a river of nectar, but also it's a river of blood. So both are there. So the basic idea, you know, that Arjuna didn't wish to fight, and he gave Krishna, we will see to that, Pancha Samshayad, 5 good reasons not to fight. So Krishna is going to counter all these reasons throughout the whole Gita, and ultimately is going to explain to Arjuna that he should fight, but as an offering to him. Savadamam Paritaja. So superficially, we have to understand this point. Krishna is speaking Gita to Arjuna to fight, but this is not the whole reason. What is the inner reason? What is the final reason? He wants to trigger him to fight, yes, but there's even a final reason underlying. What is it?
The Asuras were invading Earth, and
That's external.
okay.
That's external. I mean, that's a good reason. Like you said, Glanir Bhavati Bharat. Glanir means discrepancy. As soon as a discrepancy, yes, definitely is going to appear, or he will send someone. But I'm talking about internal reason here. What is the inner purpose of Lord Krishna? Remember, Arjuna is just the via medium. That's the right person, right in front of Krishna. That is a face-to-face exchange. It's a conversation that lasted 45 minutes. But behind it all, what is the intent of Lord Krishna?
Krishna wanted.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Mataji, okay. You're
Hare
here.
Krishna.
Very good.
Sorry. Yeah, Krishna wanted Arjuna and speak the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. It's not because Arjuna was already
I cannot hear you
devotee of
properly.
Krishna
Yeah?
and close friend, and through Arjuna.
Yes.
Internet not. I don't know why my internet.
Yeah, the internet is a bit weak today. So
Yeah.
basically, the main reason is compassion. This is compassion. This is absolute compassion. He arranged the entire Mahabharata, which is one of the most popular books on earth, by the way. When you play Mahabharata on Doordarshan, it's a TV channel in India, there's about 500, 600 million people watching, you understand? Which is basically twice America watching. So it's an extremely famous, popular book since for the last 52 centuries. Is that correct, Vignesh?
Yes, in India especially, yes. We have been brought up watching the Mahabharata episodes.
Yeah, I've got myself even the series this on my keeping it on one of my hard drive, external hard drive. So within the Mahabharata, he has placed the gem Bhagavad Gita out of compassion. He has arranged a great battle. Remember, it's meant to resolve who's going to be the king. So there's lots of intrigues, family fighting, conspiracy, you name it, plots, murder, fratricidal war, romance, love. It's very exciting for Kali Yuga people. And the culmination of it all is that meeting right on the battlefield, even before the battle starts. So everyone loves a good fight, especially men. Who's going to win? When there's if you like soccer, if you like tennis, who's going to win? So what to speak of war? We are at this point of the Mahabharata. I gave you a big recap. I mean, a big introduction within Mahabharata 2 weeks ago. So our ears are pricked up because it's about to start. And thousands and thousands of people are ready to fight on both sides, just waiting to engage in warfare. And in the middle of that, Arjuna is going to say, Senayo Ubayo Madhye. Please bring my army, my child between the two armies. Isn't that a bit peculiar? Doesn't he know who is across the other party? So what's going to happen? All of a sudden, our interest is quite increased. Our ears pricked up. When the interest is at its peak, Krishna places the Gita in our consciousness. This is theatrical suspense. And Krishna is so expert as a producer. Right? Krishna is God. So as a producer, it's like a real saga, enacting a real life suspense, worldwide thriller, basically. And he places the Gita in our consciousness. When everyone's interest is at its peak, hundreds of millions are going to be killed, and a great drama is enacted. You have to really visualize the scene. But what is the inner purpose of Krishna? It's compassion. This is amazing. It's a song of love. Song, Bhagavad Gita. Gita means song. So that we can hear the Gita. This is the prime reason. You have to bear in mind so many reasons, like you name them. So, right, external, but this is Krishna wants us back, and he stages the whole Mahabharata so that we can hear this important message. Meant for all conditioned souls, basically. This is the main reason. So you got the point?
It's true.
So now this 18, let's talk about numerology. Numerology is a science, it's a new age science, but people who like this science will appreciate this point. 18. Why 18 is such an important number? 18, 1-8. Doesn't it appear in the Bhagavad Gita, throughout the Gita, this 18 number? Oh, we lost Jacob, huh? I see.
His computer died. He'll be right back.
Okay, so what is 18 all about? Can you name a few things about 18 in the Mahabharata, in pertaining to the Bhagavad Gita?
18 days of the war.
Sorry?
18 days of the war.
Yes. How many chapters?
18 chapters.
How many parvas in the Mahabharata?
Is it 18?
18. So how many Akshoinis?
How many what?
Akshoinis. Please explain, Vignesh, to Sorel. Akshoini.
They are the demigods.
Oh, okay.
No, Akshoini, okay, perhaps you didn't get it right. Akshoini, it's a military phalanx. Akshoini, we'll come to that in the first chapter. It's a military phalanx, so it comprises of so many, I forgot the numbers, so many foot soldiers, so many horsemen, so many elephant men, and you have to understand it contains quite a few, very precise. Each Akshoini is a formation of military formation, the military phalanx comprised of foot soldiers, horsemen, charioteers with their chariots, and the commander, plus elephants ridden by their leaders. So it comprises very precisely a number of, it's a phalanx, right? It's a military term. So there's 18 Akshoini. Again, 1-8. It's amazing, huh? This 18 Puranas, major Puranas, so. And Gita, remember, it's within one parva, Bhishma parva. By the way, Bhishma parva is twice the size of Srimad Bhagavatam. Just imagine the size of Mahabharata. The earthly Mahabharata is about 1,000,000.1.2 shloks. Gita is 700 shloks, so it's a tiny bit. Now, Mahabharata on higher realms of existence is much bigger, just like Ramayana, just like Srimad Bhagavatam. But Vyasadeva has considered, according to his own discretion, he has considered that 18,000, 1,1 shlokas is sufficient for earthly beings like us. So Mahabharata is just a big frame, and the little picture is the Bhagavad Gita. Where was it spoken? Do you know? Exactly. You may say Kurukshetra, but the exact spot, it was spoken on the Kadashi, Mokshada Kadashi, Jyotisar. I've been there. Jyotisar, it's 5 kilometers from Kurukshetra. They say there's still a banyan tree. I don't know if it's true. If it is the same banyan tree, that's pretty old tree. And, ISKCON is also in Kurukshetra. They have always organized Gita Jayanti Mahotsav. And you have seen in December, it will come soon. There is Gita Jayanti. It's called the, what do you call it? The day Gita was spoken. It's a particular day. It appears in the calendar, ISKCON calendar. Okay, so this is basically the introduction. And we have to remember we are at the end of Dwapara Yuga. How old is Krishna, by the way? Approximately?
100.
Sorry? How old is Krishna, approximately?
For the 100 years?
Yeah, easy.
125.
Yeah, under 25, that's the age when he left the world. Arjun, Yudhishthira is 91. So people live much longer. Arjun is about same story, 1995. Younger than Yudhishthira, sorry, a bit younger. So people fight at 80, It's a different story than now. 80, you're finished in Kali Yuga. But we are Dwapara Yuga. People are much bigger. Just imagine the scene. People are much bigger. So this is culture, Vedic culture. It's very well orchestrated. We find there is protocol for the war. Okay, so that's just to set up the scene properly. So I hope you looked at your manual. You have seen how many subsections in the first chapter. Did you notice how many subsections within the first chapter? You didn't look at your manual much, huh? So the first section is called, try to remember, through Napoleon used to say, one sketch, one drawing is worth 1,000 words. So the first subsection is preparation for war. Remember, it's within Mahabharata, so it's totally linked up. It's a continuation of a story. We're just extracting a tiny portion of Mahabharata, but it's within Mahabharata. So we have to be aware. That's why I gave this course the other day on the precursor, what's leading to the war. So first subsection, preparation for the war. Second subsection, what is it called? I saw written there in your manual. It's not love and peace. It means signs of victory. Signs of victory. Try to remember through gestures. Preparation for the war. Yeah, you are shooting arrows. Preparations for victory. Third subsection, Krishna is being introduced first time in the third subsection. And how does he appear? He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is his first introduction? Just like a drama. Krishna is entering the stage as in which position? In the third subsection. What is this particular name is being addressed? What is his first entry on stage? Bhaktavatsal.
He's driving the chariot, no?
Yeah, Parthasarathi. But the bigger picture would be Bhaktavatsal. It's the name of Krishna. What's the meaning of Bhaktavatsal? Is very affectionate to his devotee. Bhaktavatsal. Vatsa means a calf. A calf. So he's got lots of affection for his Bhakta, Arjuna. And he's entering as a servant. This is amazing. Isn't that amazing? He's the supreme. How does he enter the stage? As a servant of his devotee. So that's extremely indicative of his mood. Okay. And the last, I would say, the gesture would be the last subsection is Arjuna is
Doubtful.
pondering. When you're like this in your life, you are doubtful. Pancha samshaya, panch samshaya is going to emit, is going to speak out 5 samshaya. Samshaya means doubts. What are those? So an acronym is good for that. I'm just giving you a quick overlook of the first chapter. First one, what are the 5? Very quickly, we'll go over it in details, but C stands for compassion. First, we'll go into that in details, don't worry. E, enjoyment. How can you enjoy the world? How can you enjoy the success if everyone is dead? S stands for sin, pap in Sanskrit. Pap is afraid of pap, is afraid of sin, is afraid of the reaction to kill his elders. Okay? D. Yeah, I'm not going to take it. D, destruction. Destruction of what? Kulakshayat, destruction of family, destruction of traditions. All the elders will be killed. How can we carry on? Everyone will be, the women will be unprotected, the youngsters will be unprotected. Who's going to train them up? D. And then I. That will overlap with the beginning of the second chapter. I stands for indecision. Indecision. Arjuna is totally baffled, even though he's going to speak big words, Dharma Shastra, Artha Shastra, Nyaya, but still at the end of the day, he's baffled. So let's go back to the beginning of the Gita, because that's the purpose. And what is this? What is this sign?
Preparations for war.
Very good. So it's a small, I would say, Duryodhana Gita. That's the beginning. Because, why do I call it like this? Because basically he's trying to fix up things. He's trying to fix up people. He's afraid. We're going to see he's quite afraid. He's fearful. So let's discuss about that. This is basically the beginning of it. And let's discuss about the different meaning of those names. When we have a name, especially in Sanskrit, you have a name in Sanskrit yourself, some of you, it means something. What does Duryodhana mean? Literally. Duryodhana.
I actually think it means dirty fighter.
Yes, very good. It means a bad fighter. Very good. Excellent. A bad warrior. So obviously it goes without saying that why? Because what is the main portrait of Duryodhana? Does he accept Dharma? How does he stand towards accepting Dharma or accepting his own pleasures? He has foregone principles, dharmic principles, for the sake of fulfilling his pleasures. So he's a bad warrior. He's basically a foul player. is a four player. He has an axe to grind, as we say in English. He's a four player, Duryodhana. He's going to put his pleasures before Dharma, before principles. Now, Yudhishthira, what's the meaning of Yudhishthira?
One who is equipoised. One who is equipoised in the war.
Yeah, he's
Equipoised.
very steady in the battles of life. Remember, we are also confronted. It's a battle out there, yes, but we are also going through our own battles, isn't it? You are grown-up adults. Haven't you gone through battles already in your life? And more are coming. Most probably, we are conditioned souls, so we're going to have to fight many things, internally, externally. Look at Yudhishthira. What is his projection on life? Is very steady in his battles. Of course, he's a son of Dharmaraj. He's a son of Yamaraj. He himself is Dharmaraj. Let's discuss about Dhritarashtra. What's the meaning of Dhritarashtra? Dhritarashtra. Who is Dhritarashtra?
The father of Duryodhana.
What's the literal meaning of that name? Dhritarashtra. Is holding on to hold on to the throne, the kingdom. So this is exactly the problem of these two. They are totally opposite, Yudhishthira and Duryodhana, especially in terms of positioning themselves towards Dharma. As you protect Dharma, Dharma will protect you. Yudhishthira embraces Dharma. Duryodhana rejects Dharma for the sake of fulfilling his pleasures. So if we want to become victorious in our own battle, because we will see very soon the signs of victory are coming up. If we want to be victorious in our own battle, dealing with our senses, our mind, we better take the side of Yudhishthira, because Yudhishthira himself, even though they went through ups and downs, remember at one point they lost everything. Even their own wife, their own brothers, his own brothers. So we have different types of battles with our mind, with our senses, with other Bhutas. Bhutas means other living beings. People may hate us, we are bitten by a dog, whatever, Bhutas. And even in terms of, do you know that one scientist, his name is Wilson. What is the contribution of mankind towards ecology? Let's look at it globally. What is the only species on Earth that doesn't add up to ecology? You know, there's a chain in the animal kingdom and even vegetal kingdom. Every species of life contributes to another species, isn't it? It's called in Sanskrit, Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. One food, one species is food for another. What is the only species, according to that scientist Wilson, I think it's Igor Wilson, he made a beautiful point. He said, there's only one species that doesn't contribute to nothing in terms of ecology. Even if this particular species would not be here, it wouldn't make any difference.
Humans?
Yes, exactly. Humans, whether you want it or not, doesn't contribute to the ecology of this ecosystem of this planet. It's quite a abrupt statement, and it may hurt, especially non-devotees, I guess, but it's true. This Wilson is not a devotee, but he's a scientist, and he has proven, scientifically speaking, that man doesn't contribute at all to ecology. Even it could be removed altogether from the planet, it wouldn't make any difference. On the contrary, I guess the other living beings would be more happy, because man mostly destroyed. So we have also, in terms of war, contribution towards ecology. So why is that? We could ponder, why is it that men are not meant to contribute ecologically? There's a reason, there's a spiritual reason. It's mentioned in Hitopadesh. I don't know if you know that book. There's a book there, Hitopadesh. What is the purpose of man, of mankind, women, men, human beings? Ahara, you know the verse, Vignesh, Ahara Nidra, Baya Mitunam Cha, the four pillars of material life: eating, drinking, sleeping, mating, defense. Samanyam etat pashubir naranam. Dharmu hitesham adiko vishesho. Dharmina hina pashubi samanaha. Because the only purpose of human beings, the sole purpose, is spiritual emancipation. That is why man is not expected to contribute ecologically, because their purpose is that, to emancipate themselves, to go back to God, basically. That is the expectation of human beings, according to Hitopadesh. That is why they're not expected to contribute on the ecological ecosystem. But on the other hand, because people are not Krishna conscious, they, instead of contributing, they are destructing the ecology of the planet. So you understand, it's another consideration, the battle that we should also, by taking proper shelter of Dharma, that we should pursue. By becoming Krishna conscious, more you become Krishna conscious, more you act in harmony, in tune with the balance of the earth within the universe. So that is Bhagavad Gita. Why are we confronted to pestilence, war, COVID, you name it, drought? Why? Because we are not following Dharma. Just imagine the scene. Maharaj Yudhishthira, when he was ruling, the milk, the udders of the cows within the pasturing grounds will be oozing. Milk will be just milk, dropped on the grass. There was so much milk, So we have to understand it's all because they were aligned properly with Dharma. So Dharma means basically universal laws that govern the universe. We cannot go beyond those laws. You follow them or you destroy your head against them, but these are the laws. And that is why Dharmam tu sakshak bhagavan panitam, and it's mentioned in the Bhagavatam 6th canto. So we are going to encounter the laws given by God himself. That is why this book is so, in other words, Dharma sustains the very fabric of the universe. That is why Yudhishthira is made of Dharma. His body, his system, his intellect, his consciousness is like personified Dharma. And Duryodhana is personified Adharma. Oh, just imagine the confrontation. That's the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna wants us to restore Dharma. It was in our own life and outside, by our own behavior even. Okay, that was just a few words before diving deep in the Gita. So Gita could be considered like a love letter of Krishna towards you, towards the Jiva. It's a love letter. How do we position ourselves with our time, with our energy, with our choices in life, with our money, with our resources? This is Bhagavad Gita. How do we position ourselves? We are the architect of our own destiny. So, Dhritarashtra, and obviously we have to understand all these players have been put within the board of Mahabharata, it's like we're playing chess, the pieces of the are being placed on the board, and Dhritarashtra is holding on to the throne, to the kingdom. That attitude will obviously encourage or foster his son. So if you sometimes in life, even as a devotee, we may hold on to our position. That's my position. That's my little niche within Krishna consciousness, within ISKCON. If we hold on to that, then automatically it may bring forward the mentality or the behavior of Duryodhana. Duryodhana is, again, bad warrior. He's putting his pleasures before Dharma. So what I'm trying to say is we are at a time in history, there's still protocols, even in war. Just imagine war today. What do? They bomb the hospital, they kill the children, irrespective, the women. In those days, they have honor, even though you don't know that. You fight away from the civilians, far from the cities. If you go to Kurukshetra, the plains of Kurukshetra, way out there, you don't kill the civilians. No way. There's culture. They would fight from the sunrise to the sunset. Then even at night, they could even exchange, they could even dine together, take prasad together, And let's just imagine one fighter has been fighting with another fighter. He could meet with that guy and tell him, look, today you display such a nice trick. Can you please teach me that trick? This is Mahabharata. You just imagine the honor, the protocol, even pertaining to war, the protocols. Can you teach me that trick? And because it's a sportive mood, yes, the other one will teach him the trick. No one will shoot an arrow before Bhishma. Bhishma is the chieftain, the foremost fighter. Prabhupada said, compared to Bhishma, even Bhim is a fig, little fig. No one will dare to shoot an arrow before Bhishma. As soon as Bhishma will shoot his arrow, then this is the beginning of the war. So what I'm trying to say, there is, even in terms of war is bloody. It's unwanted, but still, we will see that war is needed actually. But there's still protocols, the conventions, there is culture. This is very culture. Anyway, I don't want to carry on so much within we have to start somewhere. So let's go through your questions. So we discussed about river of nectar and river of blood. That's covered. Second question, let's get into the first verse. Sorel, you please read out the first verse. Sanskrit is very important.
Oh. Hold on. Okay. Well, it's a good practice for me.
Yeah.
Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma setra kuru setra samaveta yuyuta sava mamaka pandavas jeva kim akruvata Sanjaya. Very good. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do?
Yeah. So first question is Kim akurvat. Kim is a question mark. Huh? It's a what? What did they do? Kim Purush. It's a species of beings actually. Are they humans? No. Kim Purush it's a spiritual being. Kim in Sanskrit means what? What did they do? Akurvat is to do something. Kim akurvat. Why is he asking this question? Who's speaking here?
Dhritarashtra.
Yes. Why is he asking this question?
Because he's blind and he is being relayed the information through Sanjaya, who has mystic vision. he's able to see the battlefield unfolding from Dhritarashtra's palace.
Yes, definitely. It's a very good reminder, Jacob. Remember, Sanjay fought on the battle up to the fall of Bhishma. Of course, we are moving ahead because remember, we are at the spot now. The Gita, I mean, the battle hasn't started as yet. We are before the battle starts. But when Sanjay, now we are moving ahead, Sanjay is going to realize Bhishma has fallen. Then it's such an important event that he's going to split and run back to Hastinapur, which is by train. It's about 1 night journey by train. I've done it. Delhi, Kurukshetra is 1 night by train. So, you know, you have to ride your horse for 1 night. So it's, I mean, more than 1 night, obviously. Train may be faster than the horse. So it's a little far, and he's going to tell the king, this is what happened. Bhishma fell down. It's such an important turn of events. And from then on, he's going to relate the battle from afar, from within his heart, like TV, live. Yesterday, his guru has graced him with that skill. He's going to relate the reminder of the battle. First, he's going to update him, and then he's going live to relate. So again, you have, yes, Jacob, we have kind of set up the scene, but there's more to say. Why is he saying Kimakurva? Just look at the purport. Prabhupada is very explicit.
He's very partial to his son, so he's worried what's going to happen to his son, whether they're all in the right position.
Exactly.
So he's a little bit worried, so that's why he wanted to really know, you know, who is on each other's side, who are the warrior, you know.
Yeah, definitely. That's very true.
Can I add a little?
Sorry?
Can I add a little tiny bit?
Please.
I think also because he knew that the battle was a holy place, and he knew that like the Pandavas were very like virtuous. So he already knew kind of that, like, I think this is what I put anyways in my answer, that he already knew like that it was going to be leaning more toward them winning. So he was even more worried about his son's victory. Was that?
Yeah, definitely. That's a very good one. Anything else? Everyone got the points that they were shared just now from Golokananda and Sorel?
And also I want to add, because he knows that Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas.
Yes. Very good. You have read the purport properly.
I
Now,
think he was in a dilemma.
Yes, excellent. Carry on.
He was very anxious, quite insecure, about the fate of the entire war. So he was not sure whether what will happen to my sons.
Yes.
He was in a
Because
double mind.
it's a beautiful point, dilemma. At the same time, Kurukshetra, Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra is such a dharmic place, way before Mahabharata, way before. The demigods used to come personally to perform yagyas. Such a place, such a sacred place, since time immemorial. So he knows that's going to benefit my nephews. At the same time, I don't want them to come to compromise, because I want my sons to Mamaka, my sons, Mamaka, I want them to rule. I could not rule, I'm blind. But now, next generation, I want them to rule. Now there's a different slant altogether. It's not mentioned by Prabhupada, I know, but very interesting slant. Of course, back to Mahabharata, something happened. You may not be aware, but Dhritarashtra had sent Sanjay to the Pandavas with a similar message. What was that message? Because in one sense, Dhritarashtra wishes that the Pandavas decline the fight on the name of compassion and on the name of detachment. Because prior to the war, Sanjay had been sent by Dhritarashtra to the Pandavas with that message. What was the message again? Sanjay pleaded that since, oh my dear Pandavas, you are saintly persons, isn't it? You are much more saintly than the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. No, everyone knows. So why don't you refrain from the battle and live by begging? That was conveyed by Sanjay by the order of Dhritarashtra. What will you gain, my dear Pandavas, by slaying your relatives? It's better to give up the kingdom than to kill Bhishma and Drona, right? So Sanjay introduced the same arguments that Arjuna is going to feed upon. You understand? Sanjay introduced those arguments. And later on, now we're going to see at the end of the first chapter, Arjuna is going to develop these arguments. And Krishna happened to be there also when Sanjay showed up before the battle. And Lord Krishna rejected the proposal. And because it's a common state of affair, I don't know if you have noticed in life, oftentimes unscrupulous persons, they try to deceive saintly persons in a similar manner, isn't it? They will try to persuade the saintly persons, the holy person, it's not worth it to fight. For these are material things, my dear Sadhu. Much better to pursue solitary bhajan, And Krishna doesn't like that. Krishna doesn't like that his devotees be cheated in the name of spirituality. He hates that. He doesn't approve that. So when people try to do that against them, Krishna becomes angry. And he doesn't want his devotees to be befooled. It reminds me of a story pertaining to Gaur Lila. There was one Digvijay Pandit. He tried to show the world that he had defeated in a debate Rup and Sanatan Goswami. Who can defeat Rup Goswami? Who can defeat Sanatan Goswami? They are manjaris from the spiritual world. But he was such an arrogant. Digvijay Pandit means he has conquered Dig, the 10 directions. He's like Mahapandit. You know what did Rupa Goswami did? He signed, where should I sign, my dear sir? He signed the form. Yes, you defeated me. That came to the ears of Jiv Goswami, their nephew. And he was enraged. He said, how could it be? Then he confronted that person. You defeated my uncles? Let's sit. And he flattened the guy so bad, the guy never recovered. Never recovered. So see what I'm saying? Krishna hates when devotees are being trampled upon. And Dhritarashtra was trying to even do that before the battle. Sanjay conveyed that meaning to Pandavas before the battle. And now Arjuna, we're going to see, are going to take up the same arguments. That's quite an unknown reason, but I find it very pertinent. Is that clear? Everyone? Can you hear?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So now second question, what is mamaka? We just touched on it already quite a bit. Mamaka is partial. Mamaka means my sons. Prahlad Maharaj explained, as soon as you consider life in terms of friends and enemies, you're doomed. Yudhishthir's name is Astashatru. how does it go? This name of Yudhishthira? His enemy is not born. As how does it go, Vignesh? Shatru means enemy. It goes. There's a particular name of Yudhishthira. His enemy is not born. There's a story in Mahabharata. Before, once the boys had completed their martial arts, who was the teacher, the martial teacher?
Dronacharya.
Yes. He sent them out. He told Yudhishthira, you please go around the world. You come back only once you have found someone who is more fallen than you. You bring him back. I want to see that person. And he told Duryodhana, you go around the world and you find someone more advanced than you. You bring him back. Otherwise, I don't want to see your faces, both of you. Both went. They were gone for 1 year. They both came back with the same answer. We haven't found that person. Don't you know that story? Mahabharata? We haven't found that person. So the enemy of Yudhishthira is not even born. Some people may consider Yudhishthira an enemy for them, but as far as Yudhishthira is concerned, his enemy is not even born. So Mamaka means Dhritarashtra is thinking, my sons, are they okay? Are they going to fight? My sons. He has already forgotten, this rascal, that Pandu, his younger brother, ruled before him, and his sons, Pandu's sons, are as entitled to become the king, the emperor, as his own sons, right? So this strong idea that enemy and friend, it creates hatred and envy in society. So this is the idea. Now let's go back to Duryodhana. There's one thing we have to admit. Is extremely good. I was mentioning here in my question, lavish Rajanitic diplomatic skills. Let's listen to a few of those right in the beginning of the Gita. You can please share what your findings. Let's go through the first verse. Let's go through. Okay, let's move on a little bit. Verse number 2. You don't have to read the Sanskrit each time, because otherwise it's going to be quite lengthy. First one was very important to read the Sanskrit because obviously it's loaded with meanings. Second one, verse 2, you can just read the English.
Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words.
Yes. So now it goes practically, let's move on to 3, because this is one of the first points, dealing with the skill, the diplomatic skill of Duryodhana, which are totally proven times and times again. He's a skillful politician. We cannot deny. Number 3.
O my teacher, behold the great army of the son of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciples, the son of Drupada.
Very interesting. Of course, it's pertaining to the history of Mahabharata. Drupad Putrena. Look how the Sanskrit is being formulated here. Drupad Putrena. Drupad means, who is Drupad?
Drupad is the father of Draupadi and Drishtadyumna.
Very good. And try to go further back in their childhood. Drupad and Duryodhana Dronacharya were
friends.
Very good friends. They were so much good friends, even though Drupad is a king. Remember, Dronacharya is a Brahmin. He turned to Kshatriya spirit for particular purpose. We'll come to that, but by birth he's a Brahmin. They were such a good friends as teenagers. One time Drupad told him, look, whatever I get in the future, we will share in two. We will share equally in two. And life went on. Drupad is a king. He was trained as a king, prince. And Dronacharya is son of one of the Saptarishi, Bharadwaj, extremely powerful patriarch. He's one of the father of mankind, father of the universe. Saptarishi is one of the Saptarishi, Bharadwaj, his father. So, and he had a son. Dronacharya, whose name is
Dristajumna.
No.
Dristajumna.
No. Dristajumna is the son of Drupad. Who's the son of Dronacharya?
Asvatthama.
Very good. They were so poor. This family was so poor. He had never been able to afford paying milk for his son Ashvatthama. He couldn't even afford to buy milk, to get milk. Can you imagine how poor he must be? So then, one time, the school friend of Ashvatthama, they played a trick on Ashvatthama. They put some water and flour and appeared whitish, and they said, this is milk. So the boy went back home. He said, Dad, I drank some milk today. He didn't know even the taste of milk. So the father got the point. He immediately could surmise they played tricks on my son. And he felt bad, very, very much ashamed. I cannot even afford to give milk to my son. So he remembered that promise of Drupad early in his life. He went back to him. Drupad told him, friendship only exists amongst equals. Dronacharya felt so much hurt. You get out of here. So then, this is the time Dronacharya, he plotted against Drupad. And he approached the topmost martial teacher. Himself, he's an avatar of God. What is his name? Parashuram. And the very same teacher as Bhishma. He was trained, he is Brahmin. Remember, Parashuram would never train a Kshatriya. He hates Kshatriyas. He came down only to destroy Kshatriya because they were faulty Kshatriyas. Since Dronacharya is a Brahmin, he trained him thoroughly. And then only this Dronacharya, he happened to wander all the way to Kuru, Hastinapur, and he offered his services to the young boys of the kingdom, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. And he was hired as a martial teacher, and he trained them so well. And then when time for Guru Dakshina, please, the boy came forward, my dear Guru, what do you want as a Guru Dakshina? You please bring Drupad tied up like an animal in front of me. This is all vengeance. So Arjuna, actually Duryodhana wanted to go, and Dronacharya told him, no way you can go. You don't know even Drupad. He's so powerful. Arjuna, you go. So you can see the feud, the tension is mounting between the two boys. Arjuna brought back Drupad totally tied up. Then Dronacharya released Drupad. He said, I'm not going to kill you. That's even worse for a Kshatriya. When infamy is worse than death, we will come to that in the Gita. Then he's going to release Drupad, and he told him, I'll take only half of your kingdom. You can keep the other half. Such a insult. Drupad, again, vengeance is mounting like anything. I have to get back at him. He went through deep austerity. And now we come into the yagya, like you said, Goloka. Deep tapas, deep austerity. Finally, he had his Brahmins organize a yagya. Who appeared in this yagya? Two personalities.
A boy and a girl. There's Tajumna and Draupadi.
Very good. And now, can you imagine the broad-mindedness of a Brahmin? Even though he became a Kshatriya, but he knew this boy has only appeared on earth to kill me. That was the intent of his father, Drupad. Still, he's going to train the boy. He's training the boy who's going to kill him later in the battle. He knows. So that is why, as Dronacharya is saying, Duryodhana is saying here, 1:3, Drupad Putrena is trying to remind him politely, because that is his guru. You train Dimata. He's such an intelligent disciple of yours that you train him, even though he's going to kill you. So he's reminding he's reminding Dronacharya of that incident. Why? What is his intent? Why does he do that, Duryodhana? Because he wants to spur him to anger. You cannot fight if you're not angry. Can you fight if you're not angry? No. So he's spurring him to anger. See, this is his expertise. Duryodhana is quite expert. Now, verse 4. Whoever.
I can go.
Vignesh, you can go. Verse 4.
Here in this army are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjun. Great fighters like Yudhan, Virat, and Drupad.
Yeah. So why is he mentioning? Again, same story. This shows the skill of Duryodhana. Because remember, there's one particular name here, Yuyudan. Why is he mentioning Duryodhana? Yuyudan, do you know? Of course, you have to know Mahabharata, I agree. This particular name, why is he mentioning Yuyudan? Because Yuyudan is one of the brother. It's one of the brother.
Oh, Duryodhana?
No, I'm getting it backwards here. So we are still in the Pandavas. Sorry. I'm going too much ahead of time. This is still the Pandavas here. Yeah. So why, by the way, that's a very good point. Why is he mentioning the army of the Pandavas first? Any idea? He could, Duryodhana is obviously self-centered, to say the least. He could have mentioned his army first. Is he being polite here?
Diplomatic?
Yes, but more than that.
I believe he's speaking as a tactician. He mentions later that his primary fighter is Bhishma, and he doesn't want him to get caught up in battle. And he might be caught up in battle by fighters like Bhima and Arjun, who are great fighters in their own right.
Yes, but actually the foremost reason is because he's afraid. You have to remember one thing. There's 18 Akshoinis. Akshoini, again, is a military phalanx with a particular number of foot soldiers, of elephants, of horse. There was 7 on the Pandavas, 18 on the Kauravas. So by far, the Pandavas are small in numbers, but be careful in terms of Maharathis. Who's got the most Maharathis? Who's got the most Maharathis? Maharathis means there's such, I mean, Maharathi is a title. This person can fight against 10,000 soldiers at a time. This is called a Maharathi in Sanskrit. They are top level fighters. Maharathi, the different level. Rati, Maharathi. Maharathi is the topmost title. As a fighter, you can fight against 10,000. There's more Maharathis on the Pandava side than on the Kaurava side. So we have to remember, Duryodhana is truly afraid. The situation is so tense that he's approaching his guru. Is a concern. He's quite afraid. He said that these guys are so expert. It's true. He means it. So much so that he approached Drone. He approached Drone because he knows Drone is our teacher. So he's trying to hide his fear at the same time, pretending he's coming out of respect for his guru, yes, but actually that's a clever diplomatic truth. Raja, he calls him, Raja, king, Vachanama Bravit. He's speaking some words to propitiate, you said to propitiate Duryodhana. Yes, you have to fight. You're going to have to fight, even though you trained that young boy to kill you. You trained him, but you're going to have to fight. We're going to have to fight heavy because look at the phalanxes across the field. They have more Maharathis. In other words, the warriors of the Pandavas side, they are superior in quality. Plus, that's not finished. Bhishma and Drona, they have a soft corner for the Pandavas. Everyone knows. See? In other words, the spirit of the battle is plain. It's not really one focused on many partisans of Duryodhana are a bit plain. They're not necessarily so focused on Duryodhana. Whereas on the other side, the Pandava side, everyone is totally focused. Okay, so let's carry on. He's going to carry on 5. There's also great, heroic, powerful fighters: Drishtaketu, Chekitan, Kasiraj, Purujit, Kuntiboj. Kuntiboj is the cousin brother of Kuntiboj is the one who brought up Kunti. And Kunti was given to him by his cousin. Who was the father of Kunti? Shurasen. Or Ugrasen, one of the two, I forgot. Then 6, they are the mighty Udamanyu, the very powerful Utamocha, the son of Subhadra. Who is the son of Subhadra?
Abhimanyu.
Very good. Actually, he's coming from the moon. He's the son of Chandradev. He's going to fight only for 16 years. That is why he's going to be killed early in a heinous manner, totally unjust manner. Karna will finish him off, actually. And Karna will whisper in his ear, you are the real hero of the battle. Not Arjuna, not me. You are the hero. He took 9 Maharathis to kill Abhimanyu. 9 Maharathis. He's the son of the moon god. Extremely powerful fighter. The son of Subhadra and Arjuna. The sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great fire fighters. So see, he's worried. He's truly worried. The formation, extremely well laid out by Krishna Arjuna. In terms of Maharatis, they're in superior strength. And now it's coming to 7, is coming to his men. Go ahead.
7. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force.
Yes, 8, carry on.
There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Asvatthama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta, called Burshirava, who are always victorious in battle.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. See, we discussed that he has enumerated first the army of the Pandava. Why? Because he's truly impressed by the layout of their formation, and he's truly anxious. He's a bit fearful. He's trying to hide the fear, yes, towards his Dronacharya, but still at heart he's fearful. Now, not to let Dronacharya perceive that he's fearful, he's going to shift to his men now. He's going to boast the power of his own men, if you want. Yes, we should not underestimate the strength of an enemy, but let me tell you about my men, Dronacharya. Who are those persons? So here again, there's in 8, there's again a very apparent trait of his diplomacy. Look at the Sanskrit, Bhavan Bhishmas Chakarnas Cha. Why didn't he say Bhishma? Bhishma is by far the most powerful, valiant soldier by far. How come he didn't say Bhishma first? How come? He's saying Bhavan. Bhavan means your good self. He's speaking to Drona. Why did he start with Drona? Bhishma is even more senior. That shows his diplomacy. It's quite expert, actually. Vignesh, why?
Because he wanted to boost his ego.
Well, because Drona is Brahmin. So Bhishma won't be offended if you quote Brahmin first. You understand? Then second Bhishma, of course, it goes without saying. Then Khan, remember Khan? Khan took a vow, very, very powerful vow. They hate each other, Khan and Bhishma. They hate each other. What is the vow Khan took?
He's going to kill Arjun.
Yes, that's not the vow. That's one of the vow, but not the one I was referring to. He told Duryodhana, I'm not going to fight until Bhishma falls dead. They don't like each other. I want to be in charge of this battle. Bhishma is in charge. Okay, I will wait until he falls down. And you're right, Goloka. He told his mother, remember his mother is Kunti, he told her in secrecy, I will not kill the Pandavas except for Arjun. Yeah. So the guy is expert. I mean, Duryodhana is expert in diplomacy. Ashvatthama, Kripa. Kripa, remember, Kripa is the twin brother of the wife of Drona. Kripa is the brother of Kripi. Kripi married Drona, Dronacharya. They are twin brothers and sisters. Ashvatthama, son of Drona. Vikarna, why is he mentioning Vikarna? Vikarna is a small timer. Why is he mentioning that? Vikarna amongst the big soldiers here. Vikarna is nowhere near the strength of those. Why is he mentioning Vikarna? Vikarna is his own brother. He's got 100 brothers, right? One of his brothers is called Vikarna. This is the only one that complained when Draupadi was disrobed. See? You can see, I mean, the guy is extremely diplomatic. He knows how to present things. This is Rajaniti. So ultimately, he's trying to incite Dronacharya to take the battle seriously, because he knows Bhishma, Drona, and others, they have a soft corner for the Pandavas, especially Arjuna. Okay, let's carry on. 9.
There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science.
So this is, it's like an open secret on the outcome of the battle here, right here. Can you read between the lines? Tyakta jivitaha. Look at the Sanskrit. So well put by Vyasadeva. Tyakta jivitaha. It's foretelling, it's foreboding, totally foreboding. What is he trying? What is he saying? What is the blueprint of his saying? We have to read between the lines. What does he say? Other heroes are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. What is he foreboding, foretelling us?
Prabhupada says, in other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for joining the party of the sinful Duryodhana.
Exactly. So even Duryodhana is foreboding the outcome of the battle. They are ready to sacrifice. Yes, my dear friend, they're going to sacrifice their lives. They're going to die. Remember, of course, we haven't touched on that, 1133. Bhavya Sachin, Nimitra Bhavya Sachin, become an instrument in the fight, Arjuna, 1133. So he's kind of admitting that he's such a rascal in one sense. He's admitting his rascaldom. He's willing to achieve his selfish goals at the cost of his own men's lives. This is rascaldom. And this is exactly what's going on in terms of politics today on this planet. They make us believe that this COVID is dangerous, but it's nowhere as dangerous as the vaccine they're trying to inoculate to us, because of course there's money involved in there, huge money, trillions of dollars. It can be cured by natural remedies. Are they going to push those? No, because it's so cheap to buy in the pharmacy. So you can see politicians, even though you're done way back, just for the sake of achieving their selfish goals, it doesn't matter if people die. It doesn't matter. This is Asuric mentality. Now, 10.
Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhisma, whereas the strength of the Pandava, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited.
Yes, thank you. There's another symptom of his skill in diplomacy. Again, great, very great point here. He's good. He's good at manipulating people. We cannot deny. What is the proof of 10? There's one word. Do you know perhaps, Vignesh? Aparyaptam. Let's capitalize on this word. Aparyaptam. What's the meaning of aparyaptam?
Immeasurable.
Yes.
Limited. Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the acharyas. Remember, Prabhupada is not the first devotee of Krishna who has commented on the Gita. There's literally hundreds and thousands of commentaries. Remember, Gita has been spoken millions of times. What is the latest in time? 52 centuries ago. But remember, the Krishna Lila are supposedly played out once a kalpa, per kalpa. Kalpa is 1 day of Brahma in each universe. So how many times the Gita was spoken? We cannot keep track. So Srila Prabhupada is referring to the latest one, obviously, and other acharyas as great as Srila Prabhupada, Baladev Vidyabhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, 18th century, 17th. Sometimes they may refer to previous Gita from previous Divya Yuga even. So that's why sometimes you find little differences from one commentary to the next. So here, it's very interesting, this word, aparyaptam. Aparyaptam means, according to Baladev Vidyabhushan, by the way, to whom Srila Prabhupada dedicated his book, means immeasurable. In other words, the strength of the Kauravas army is immeasurable because Bhishma is leading us, protecting us. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he gives another slant to it, to that word. He said, aparyatam means also insufficient. So then in that meaning, our strength is insufficient because Bhishma, we know, is not fully committed to the battle, my dear Dronacharya. So you please step in. We depend on you because we may see that Bhishma may not be fully committed to the battle. He has a soft corner. So don't do like him, my dear Dronacharya. You have to commit yourself because with Bhishma, it may be insufficient. So this is his expertise. And he has a strong mastery of Sanskrit. We have to recognize that. In one word, he can encourage both Bhishma and Drona. You follow, huh? You have to understand. Of course, you have it needs some insight on the Sanskrit, I agree, and Mahabharata, but once you are aware of those, you can actually appreciate it's everyone's input. Now, we're moving on to the next question. Rajaniti, we covered. What are the reasons that Duryodhana is worried about the outcome of the battle? I kind of touched on it quite a bit, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cyril.
I was just gonna say what you already said, Madhavendra, but he's worried because Drishtadyumna, who can kill Dronacharya, is on the side of the Pandavas, and let's see, Dronacharya is on the side of the Kauravas, and to top it off, Drishtadyumna learned his military skills from Dronacharya, making the Pandavas' army very excellent and intimidating.
Yes, very good. And again, they are superior in quality, more Maharathis on their side, plus Bhishma, Drona, we know they have a great attachment for the Pandavas, especially the Arjuna. And we have to remember, why did they side with Duryodhana? How come they didn't move on to the other side? They could have, they are senior. Remember, this is an important point.
They were financially supported by Duryodhana. So
yeah,
that's
a political maneuvering because they have been fed. Remember, we have to go back way in time. Satyavati, way back. Satyavati is the wife of Shantanu. She was the foster mother of Bhishma, because Bhishma was born from Ganga and Shantanu, right? So she was his stepmother, basically. And she told him way back, you please always protect this Kuru dynasty. You are the protector. I want you to take a solemn vow. And he did. He was a young man. He did. So even though his heart is with the Pandavas, That is why he's going to speak Bhishparva later. He's already speaking Bhishparva. He will speak further Bhishparva to Yudhishthira on the battle, on once he's laid on the battlefield, pierced by the arrows of Arjuna. He's going to speak his heart out to Yudhishthira, how you should be ruling. So his heart is with the Pandavas, but because he took that, he gave his word to Satyavati long back. Politically, he has to stick to Kauravas. And also, Prabhupada said, because he ate the grains of the Kauravas, he became somewhat contaminated. When you eat the grains of someone, you become influenced by that person. That is why we should not eat kami breads. That's a very good point, you know. So, yes. So the reasons, you can have already spelled them out, definitely. Let's see if there's more. Plus, I kind of touched on it wholeheartedly. We have to understand in the Kauravas army, not everyone was wholeheartedly dedicated to the cause. Whereas on the Pandava side, they were totally homogeneously intent on winning. Why? They had Krishna on their side. They were totally keen and intent on winning. So we're coming to the next question, the signs of victory. Let's move on because I kind of forgot. You have to remind me sometimes. I just, you know, you have to remind me to move on with the book also. So, yes, let's move on. 11. All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. So yes, he wants to make sure, you know, he has been glorified. He has been glorifying Drone, Bhishma. So he wants to make sure, oh, by the way, I have to glorify also the others. So, you know, Bhishma is the grandfather, so you please help him out, support him. Now, just to give solace to his nephew, 12, not to his nephew, to his, I would say, his grandson, whatever. So 12.
Then Bhisma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy.
Yeah, exactly. So he has to stir them up, you know. He knows it's already doomed. It's a lost case, but still he's trying to fire him up. 13. After that, the conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. By the way, a little bit of grammar here. Tumula, tumultuous, tumultueux in French, tumultuous, same. It's coming from tumula. You can see in terms of what you call it, linguistic origin, and Sanskrit is behind it all. Tumula, tumultuous. 14. Go ahead.
On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna station and a great warrior drawn by white horses sounded the transcendental counsels.
Yeah. So what does it tell us here, 14? Something very interesting. We're already in the signs of the victory. And you can remember that V, and V means victory. So there's one here. One sign is very clear.
The conch shells that were sounded by the Pandavas are transcendental conch shells, and thus the transcendental blast.
Exactly, exactly. And we're going to see, I think it's in, it's going to shatter. Does it come after? It's going to shatter the hearts of the Kauravas. Yes, it's coming in 19. The blowing of these different conch shells became a glorious, vibrating both in the sky and the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of the Dharash. So they are afraid. Were the Pandavas afraid when the Kurus blew their conch shells? When Bhishma blew his conch shell?
No.
No. Because they have nothing to fear. If you are Krishna conscious, what do you have to fear? Tell me. Did you notice in your life? You may be poor, you may be unskilled, you may be nobody, but you have Krishna on your side. What do you have to fear? You have nothing in your mind to fear about because you are aligned. You are aligned with Krishna consciousness. So then you go on in life smoothly. You are aloof. But on the side of the Kauravas, they have a lot to feel guilty about, including Bhishma. Bhishma didn't complain when Draupadi was disrobed. Remember, no one complained. That's major offense, major. From that time onwards, the battle was meant to happen. Up to that disrobing of Draupadi, the Pandavas kind of ignore, kind of forgave. But when this rascal of Dushasan disrobed Draupadi, there's no turning point.
I have a question. Why Bhishma and Dronacharya kept quiet? I always wanted to know.
I just touched on it 10 minutes ago. Can you please answer to her, others?
Because they're fed by Duryodhana, that's why?
Because okay, I don't
on-
want I don't want to have a monologue here. So someone can reply to her.
Because he ate the grains of the family of Kuru, so he was indebted to them. So actually, it's debatable actually, because I think dharma comes over everything else, but still he kept quiet because he was indebted to the Kuru family.
Yeah, that's true, Golokananda, Priya. First of all, he had been contaminated by eating the Acharya mentioned that. He has been contaminated by eating the grains of the Kauravas. And another very powerful reason, I would say that's the main reason Krishna wanted it that way. Krishna wanted Bhishma to side up with the Kauravas to prove that Dharma is complicated. It will come very soon in the second chapter, 2:7. He will say, Arjuna will tell Krishna, Pramudachitaha, my mind is confused. Arjuna knows Dharma Shastra, Artha Shastra. He's going to give quotes and quotes. Yes, we should not fight. So many potent, good reasons. Even laymen will side with Arjuna, not with Krishna. But at the end of the day, 2:7, he says, Samudachitaha, I'm confused. Please. I'm your disciple. I want to surrender. I'm confused about I'm indecisive. Please help me. So Bhishma, even though he's a Mahajan, can you imagine? He's a Mahajan, one of the 12 Mahajan. But still, because he took side with the Kauravas, he's going to fail. Of course, in the bigger picture, he's going to give Bhishma Parava, he's going to instruct Yudhishthir, he's going to leave his body, Uttara Uyan, he's going to leave his body when the sun moves on the northern hemisphere. So it's going to be a happy ending also, but Krishna wants to make the point, even though you may be thinking you know Dharma, the last word in Dharma is Dharmam tu sakshak bhagavat pranitam. Savadamam parichacham. This is the last word in Dharma. There's different types of Dharma. Grihastha Dharma, Kula Dharma. And then at the end of the day, 1866, surrender unto me. Give up all the Dharmas. So Bhishma hadn't gone that far in terms of understanding. Yeah. at least for the sake of the Gita, is playing the role. Remember, they are all role players here. He's playing for the sake of the drama is playing. And Krishna is very keen on showing you have to take my side if you want to win in life. Even if you apparently side the Dharma side, but that's still a material Dharma to side with the Kurus as given by his mother. That's not sufficient to win the battle. You understand? 1878, the last verse of the Gita. What is it? Yatra Yogeshvara Krishna Yatra Partu Danurdaraha Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruvanitir Matur Mama. Wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, there will be victory, opulence, morality, and supreme prose. This is the last word in Dharma. You know, you may be hiding in so many sub-dharmas. That's not sufficient to win the battle in life. That's not sufficient to win the battle of Kurukshetra. Krishna wants to make that point very clear, even at the sake of humiliating Bhishma. Gita is a very deep book, huh? Very deep. Does it help, Golokananda?
Yeah, it's help. I was just thinking of that. Even he's a Mahajan and he's, he loves the Pandavas and everything. He still didn't take.
He's still bewildered.
Yeah, he's
even
still,
Arjuna 2.7, Arjuna is Vishnu Parikar, still is bewildered.
Yeah.
The arcanes of Dharma is very, very steep and deep, and these things can only be revealed by Krishna. Dharmam tu sakshat Bhagavad Panitam. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, it's been almost 2 hours. So more signs of victory here. We are, let's see, we are 14, 15. So yes, and also something very personal. The names of the Pandavas, the names of the conchals of the Pandavas, they have names. It's not just conchal number 1, conchal number 2. No, they have names. Everything is transcendental. The shank means conchal. It's an emblem of Vishnu. How can they lose? This is an emblem of Vishnu. The Alvars, who are the Alvars that appeared way before, after the battle, but before Christ, before Christ and a little bit after Christ, they are personal weapons of the Lord being personified, coming down in South India as Alvars. So these are a very potent sign of victory. Very potent. Panchajanya, Devadatta, Pondra. Now in 14, the white horses, that's also another sign of victory. Remember, Arjuna is all on his flag, he's got Hanuman. That's another sign of victory. Hanuman helped Lord Ram to win over against Ravan. And Hanuman told his stepbrother, Bhim, I will help you. I will appear on the flag of Arjuna and I will join my war cries to yours, Bhim. So when Bhim used to shout his war cries, even the elephant would pass stool out of fear. You understand? The elephants, actually they were not elephants, they were mammoths. Huge. They would retrace, they would turn around and crush their own army out of fear because of the war cries of Bhim. You have to understand, Bhim killed 1/4 of the Kaurava armies. 1/4, I'm talking about 100 million persons, more. This was a carnage, I don't know how you say in English. It's heavy stuff, this battle. This is one of the biggest battles in the story of mankind. The chariot was given by Agni, the chariot of Arjuna. Plus Madhav. Madhav is Krishna, is the husband of goddess Fortune. So by all means, they're going to win. Okay, so let's move on to 1618, King Yudhishthir. You can read out.
King Yudhishthir, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakul and Sahadev blew the Sughosh and Manipushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter, the Shikandi, the Shradyumna, Virat, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others. O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells.
Yes. So again, a very personal, extremely personal, the names of the conch shells. Yeah. So do you want to add up anything? (1618). Did you find more symptoms, more signs of victory that I overlooked, that I didn't mention? Not really.
Great.
Actually, yes, go ahead. Is it?
About
Goloka?
all these great personalities, like you are mentioning here.
Yeah. Shikandi. Shikandi has a very important. Can you see Shikandi in 1618?
Yeah.
Who is Shikandi?
Yeah.
She's a particular personality. Do you know Vignesh Shikandi?
I think she was a female earlier. Now she has become male.
She's a eunuch.
Yeah.
This is powerful stuff. Remember, I told you 2 weeks ago, when Bhishma, he ravished those girls, not for himself, he's a celibate, but for Vishtravirya. 3 girls, Amba, Ambalika, I'm forgetting the third one, Ambika, Amba, Ambalika. One of the girls told him, look, my heart is already given to that king. Please release me. Yes, okay. That king refused her. You've been touched by Bhishma. No way. She went back to Bhishma. I want to marry you. Please give me shelter. No way, I'm a celibate. She undertook severe austerity. I want to get back at Bhishma. I want to kill him. Severe austerity all her life. She died while doing austerity. And lo and behold, she's taking birth again as a eunuch. Why she took birth again? To kill Bhishma. She's so, can you imagine the determination of that lady? And we should be that determined in Krishna consciousness. Life after life, she's keeping her resolve. And true enough, Lord Krishna will remind Arjuna, please, you put that eunuch in front of you when you attack Bhishma. He won't shoot his arrows to her because she's a woman. She's half woman, eunuch means half man, half woman. And true enough, and Krishna will tell Arjuna, now you shoot. He's not going to shoot himself the arrow. You shoot him. That's how he finished his life. Shikandi. Satyaki will survive. Very few persons. You can count the survivors on your 2 hands. There's 540 million people who are going to die. The survivors are not even 10. Satyaki is one of them here. Okay, let's move on and we'll finish off now because we are touching 20. So it shattered the house of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Here we discussed about that. And now, obviously, there's something, we are moving on into the next subsection. I will leave it up to Chandra to cover that. 20, go ahead.
The blowing of this conch shell became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra.
Yeah. So obviously there's something fishy here. Next verse, of course, I won't touch it because it's another subsection, but we can foresee something a little peculiar coming up. What is it?
Just
yes.
that. Oh, sorry. The Kauravas their confidence is being shaken.
Yes. But I'm talking about Arjun. He's taking up his bow, prepared to shoot his arrows. It looks like Gita is over. Gita is over. What's the need of the Gita? He's about to shoot his arrows. But Arjun's going to speak something. And of course, I'll leave it up at that. I'll leave the suspense going on. What he's going to say in 21, 22 proves there's something going on in his mind. There's something which is not normal. Anyway, I don't want to spill the beans, as you say. So any questions, any sharing, any realizations, any misunderstanding, clarification, whatever?
Actually, to discuss each verses of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita in detail like that is very, very interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, it says, oftentimes,
Yeah.
Sorry?
We go into depth about each point, like the conch shell, the white horse, and all this stuff,
I noticed devotees, I don't like the first chapter, it's boring, Prabhu, there's only names and names. What's the use? Let's move on to second chapter. I noticed, I've seen that. I've seen that. Oh, it's boring, Prabhu. No. This is the link. This is the link. Remember, this book is a tiny bit of Mahabharata, but it is the precious gem. This is the precious gem. You remove that gem from the book. I mean, it's not a book. It's how big is the book? 1,100,000 shloks. That Gita is perhaps, in terms of percentages, what is it? 700 out of 110,000? What is it? 1/10 of a 1/10,000. I don't know. Look it up, calculate. But no, this is the springboard of the Gita. It's going to just throw the whole topic, and then Krishna is going to come in the picture. It's coming. Krishna is coming now. You're lucky. You're going to have Krishna is going to come next time for you. So this is a drama of life. This is such an important book. Remember, it's like a layers. It's like an onion, many layers. So it goes very deep. Why do you think this book has been commented hundreds and hundreds of times, and it's not finished? It's not finished. You come back on earth. I don't want you to come back on earth, first of all. But let's say you come back in 10,000 years, you will see there will be more commentaries on the Gita. This is the key book of mankind. That is why it's such an important book. Hare Krishna, I'll stop here. So it's 6:10 here. I'm sorry, a little over time as usual, but sometimes they become carried away a little bit. So any questions, or you all set?
All set.
Okay, great. So have a good day. And
Hare Krishna.
read ahead. I guess Chandra will tell you, but I would advise you to finish off the chapter. I mean, it's there's about 40 verses, 41, a little more, I would say. No, a little more actually. 46. Yeah. So finish it off, and he will send you questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Haribol.